the cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Dwyane Wade recently dropped a comment about his wife, Gabrielle Union,
Right.
that it immediately set the internet on fire.
Right.
The title that we're basing this whole deep dive on today, what Dwyane Wade just said about Gabrielle Union, has fans smiling.
It really is the perfect hook.
It is. And welcome to StarScope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
Yeah, we are getting into all of it today.
We really are. So we've pulled this massive stack of sources for you, the listener. We've got everything from like recent red carpet interviews to these deeply personal biographies, and even some daytime television appearances.
Because we want to uncover the actual architecture of this high-profile marriage.
Exactly. Our mission today is to figure out how two sovereign, incredibly wealthy celebrities actually make a blended family thrive under a microscope.
Yeah, and I think that fragrance comment you mentioned, the one that has fans smiling, it's actually the perfect entry point into their dynamic.
Okay, set the scene for us. What actually went down?
Right, so this happened at the recent Fragrance Foundation Awards in New York City.
Fancy.
Very fancy. Wade was attending as a global ambassador for this men's fragrance line called Intuition. So, naturally, the press is there, the cameras are rolling, and they ask him about scents.
Which is standard. You expect the PR answer.
Exactly. You expect him to just recite the marketing copy for the cologne. But instead of delivering that standard PR line, he completely pivots the conversation directly to Gabrielle.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, he told the reporters that she specifically curates her lotions and her perfumes based on what she knows he likes.
Wait, really? She misses them?
Yeah. He explicitly stated that when he smells that specific combination, it acts as a signal. Like, he said it lets him know it's going to be a good night.
Wow.
Yeah, he's saying it keeps that...
So it's not just about, smelling nice for a random night out.
No, not at all.
It's this active daily maintenance routine. It's almost like an intimate communication tool between them.
That's exactly what it is.
I look at maintaining a long-term marriage, especially in Hollywood, much like owning a classic vintage car.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you don't just buy a vintage car, park it in your garage, and expect it to run flawlessly a decade later.
No, it would rust out.
Exactly. It requires constant, deliberate tuning. You're checking the oil, you're polishing the chrome, you're listening super closely to the engine.
Yeah, you have to pay attention to it.
And what Gabrielle is doing with that signature scent is it's an intentional, deliberate signal to her partner. It's the tuning.
That's a really great way to put it.
But okay, let me push back on this initial premise for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
Because when you have their level of immense wealth, we are talking private jets, personal chefs, access to literally any luxury on the planet.
Right. They are incredibly well off.
Is it really truly a bottle of curated lotion that holds the marriage together?
You think it sounds a bit too perfect?
Yeah. It feels a little bit like a rehearsed answer to just say, oh, it's just the little things that matter.
I get why you'd say that. It sounds overly simplistic until you actually examine how they actively structure their downtime away from the cameras.
Okay, how so?
Well, Wade explicitly addressed this exact assumption in a 2020 interview because, the general public assumes massive wealth just automatically solves relationship problems.
Right, like money buys happiness.
Exactly. But he completely rejected that premise. He stated that money is absolutely not the glue keeping them connected.
Okay.
Instead, he defined them at their core as robe people.
Robe people?
Yeah, robe people.
Which means what, practically? Are they just wearing luxury silk robes around a mega mansion all day?
Well, kind of, but it's deeper than that. He defined it as stripping away all the Hollywood production.
Okay, that makes sense.
It means their absolute favorite thing to do is just stay home, wear comfy robes all day, watch movies, or just hang out in the pool with the kids.
So it's the normal stuff.
Right. It's about the simple, mundane activities you can basically do for free, stripped entirely of that celebrity context.
Oh, wow.
And Union actually echoed this sentiment too. She pointed out that their ultimate secret weapon is just humor. She noted, and I quote, "We laugh our off."
I love that so much. And, if we look at the reality of their daily life, that humor isn't just charming. It is a structural necessity for survival.
Oh, completely.
Because they are managing a very full, very active blended family.
Yes, they are.
I mean, they are raising their 7-year-old daughter, Kavya, who, by the way, inspired their collaborative children's book, Shady Baby, which is adorable.
It's so cute.
But they are also raising Wade's children from a previous marriage and a previous relationship. So that's Zaire, Zaya, and Xavier,
right.
plus Wade's nephew, Davion.
It's a full house.
That is a massive house full of drastically different ages, drastically different needs, and big personalities.
And that level of household complexity,
Yeah.
it requires a massive release valve.
It really does.
Because if you don't have laughter, and if you can't just throw on a robe and decompress away from the public eye,
Yeah.
I mean, the sheer pressure of managing those multiple lives under one roof will cause the engine to overheat, to use your car analogy.
Exactly. The robe people mentality is basically the safe harbor that protects the family unit from the demands of their own fame.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
And, you know, we are going to get into how they manage their massive individual empires outside of the house in just a second. But wait till you hear the shocking twist nobody saw coming later in the deep dive regarding a massive secret they kept from the entire world.
Yeah, that part of the story is wild.
It really is. But, going back to their dynamic, it's easy to be robe people on a lazy Sunday.
Right.
But Monday morning rolls around, and they aren't just lounging by the pool anymore. They are running individual, high-stakes empires.
Multi-million-dollar empires.
Exactly. So how does that relaxed, unified vibe survive when you have two massive, competing ambitions operating out of the exact same house?
It's a great question.
Because society loves to sell us this idea of marriage as a merger of two halves, right? The classic "you complete me" narrative from the movies.
Yep, the Jerry Maguire trope.
Yes. But reading through these sources, Wade and Union do not operate like a merger at all.
No, they don't.
They look much more like a strategic alliance between two sovereign CEOs.
I think that's a perfect way to describe it. And to understand why they operate with such distinct autonomy, we really have to look at the history they brought into the relationship.
Okay, take us back.
So they met in 2007 while co-hosting a Super Bowl party. But, you know, this is the second marriage for both of them.
Right.
Wade was previously married to Siobhan Funches, and Union was married to former NFL player Chris Howard. So they both experienced the really painful dissolution of a traditional merger. And Union has been incredibly candid about this. She admitted that they, quote, didn't do it right the first time around.
Wow. It's
Honest, very. She realized that for a partnership to actually survive long-term, it has to be fundamentally collaborative and equitable.
Which led them to take some very pragmatic steps before their wedding, right? Because they got married in 2014 at the Chateau Artisan in Miami.
Such a cinematic, gorgeous venue.
But, oh, absolutely stunning. But specifically, before all that glamour, they sat down and signed a prenuptial agreement to protect their individual assets.
They did.
Now, society usually views prenups as a fundamental lack of trust.
Oh, totally. People hate talking about it.
It feels like you are planning for the divorce before you even cut the cake.
That's the stigma, yeah.
Right. If you are truly building a life together, shouldn't the resources be entirely pooled? Doesn't keeping a literal wall between your bank accounts create a wall in the emotional relationship?
It's a super common perception. But the mechanism of financial autonomy actually serves a completely different purpose here.
How so?
By clearly defining those boundaries and legally protecting their hard-won success up front, it completely removes the potential for financial resentment.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it takes money,
Yeah.
which is like one of the leading causes of marital conflict globally. It takes it off the table entirely.
Wow.
They ensure that every single day they wake up, they know the other person is there by choice, not out of financial convenience and not out of obligation.
I love that. And Wade's philosophy on this is incredibly striking to me, especially coming from the world of professional sports.
Right, because sports culture often carries very traditional, old-school expectations about family dynamics.
Exactly. But he actively rejects the idea that the man leads and the woman follows. He famously told an interviewer, and I'm quoting here, she is her own boss and has her own career, her own bank account.
Yeah, the implication there is that he views his role as a supporter, not a director. He stated that his goal is not to stunt her growth or to change who she is, but simply to be a part of her evolution.
That is so rare.
It really is. And if we look at his public tribute to her for her 50th birthday, they were celebrating in Africa, which was beautiful. He posted this message expressing that he is forever grateful and in debt to the universe for choosing him to be her husband.
Oh.
Yeah. He's deliberately centering her power and her journey rather than demanding she fit into his shadow.
That completely challenges a fundamental narrative we are fed about love.
It does.
We are always taught that autonomy is the enemy of intimacy. Like, if you're too independent, you can't be close.
Right.
But for Roe v. Wade and Union, autonomy is actually the ultimate aphrodisiac.
Yes.
Knowing that this incredible, highly successful person chooses to be with you, not because they rely on you structurally, but because they genuinely just want your company.
Exactly. But, that autonomy only works if it is tested and holds up under severe pressure.
This is true.
Because a strong marriage isn't one that just naturally avoids adversity. It's defined by how it navigates the absolute worst moments.
Yeah.
And they have had their share of very serious, very public tests.
Which is beautiful, but later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the moment this flawless dynamic actually broke and how they handled a very public fracture.
Yeah, we have to get into that.
But real quick, if you're loving these Hollywood twists and this kind of deep analysis, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead, and you do not want to miss them.
Definitely hit subscribe.
Okay, so we do need to address the severe bumps in the road, because this deep dive shouldn't paint an unrealistic, flawless picture. That wouldn't be fair to the sources or reality.
No, not at all.
In 2013, before they got married, they actually split up.
They did.
Union attributed the breakup to the sheer distance and the reality of their grueling, totally incompatible schedules.
Right, because she's filming, he's playing in the NBA.
Exactly. But during that time apart, Wade fathered his son, Xavier, with a woman named Aja Matoyer. Now, for the average person listening right now, that scenario is a permanent deal breaker.
Oh, 100%. Most people will walk away.
How do you actually rebuild trust and forge a stronger bond after a fracture of that magnitude?
It requires a massive, massive recalibration of ego and expectations.
I can't even imagine.
Right, because they didn't just sweep it under the rug. They didn't just rely on PR spin to make it go away. They had to do the grueling, unglamorous work of repairing broken trust behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And honestly, more importantly, they had to figure out how to integrate Xavier into the fabric of their lives.
Which they did.
Which they did. It proves they aren't just relying on the easy, affluent moments to coast by. There's a deep, resilient grit in how they tackle the messy reality of their history.
And that public scrutiny, as intense as it was during the 2013 split, I mean, the tabloids were relentless. It seems entirely different from the private crises they have faced more recently.
It's a totally different beast.
The source material regarding Wade's health completely shifted my perspective on their dynamic. I'm talking about the major revelation that came out in February 2025.
Yeah, this was a shock to everyone.
Walk us through what happened.
So Gabrielle Union went on The View, and she completely stunned the audience. She revealed that Wade had been secretly battling a cancerous tumor on his kidney.
Oh my God.
Yeah. She announced that he had undergone surgery and was, thankfully, cancer-free. But she admitted that receiving that diagnosis initially put her in absolute shock.
Of course.
She was fearing the absolute worst-case scenario, as anyone would.
What really stands out to me here is the sheer contrast in how they handle information.
Oh, it's day and night.
Right. Think about their wedding. They released a 21-minute, highly produced video to the public. It featured John Legend literally serenading the guests.
It was beautiful.
It was. They clearly know how to broadcast their joy and leverage their celebrity when they want to.
Definitely.
But when it came to a terrifying medical crisis, they initiated a total lockdown. Radio silence for over a year. In an era of constant paparazzi and social media tracking, keeping a major surgery a secret is an incredible logistical feat.
It really is. And Union actually explained the underlying strategy behind that silence.
What did she say?
She noted that Wade was really smart to delay talking about the diagnosis and the subsequent surgery.
Oh.
The goal was to give their immediate family the necessary time to process the emotional shock.
Wow.
Yeah. They needed to make peace with the reality of the situation in their own living room first.
Before the whole world weighed in.
Exactly. Before inviting the noise, the pity, and the inevitable public speculation into their lives.
It's basically a masterclass in selective privacy.
That's a great term for it.
Because they give the public the wedding video, the red carpet looks, the funny quotes about perfumes that have fans smiling.
Right.
But they kept the true vulnerability, the genuine fear of losing a spouse and a father entirely to themselves until they were safely on the other side. They built an impenetrable fortress around their family when they needed it most.
And if you analyze the psychological effect of that fortress, That private solidarity completely changes how you operate out in the real world.
How so?
Because when you have absolute certainty that your partner is your shield, it gives you an incredible sense of freedom to be bold in your public life. You aren't scared.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. And there is a quote from Union that illustrates exactly how that private safety translates to public risk-taking.
I think I know the one you mean.
She said, "A lot of times I feel like I could lose everything by standing up for the right thing." And he's like, "No, you won't. I got you."
I got you. Just 3 words that completely neutralize the fear of failure.
It's so powerful. And let's look at a practical example of that boldness. There was a recent incident where Union took to Twitter to publicly advocate for NBA referees to be fined for bad calls.
Oh, yeah, she did not hold back.
She was echoing comments made by Reggie Jackson. Now, just for context for the listener, the NBA is Dwyane Wade's world.
He is royalty there.
He is a legend in that league. And for a lot of spouses in the sports world, there is this unspoken pressure to just smile, wave, and absolutely not rock the boat.
That is the standard expectation. You protect the brand at all costs.
Right. But Union just put her opinions right out there, unapologetically, knowing full well it would cause a stir in his professional sphere.
And she can take those social and professional risks because she knows her partner isn't going to pull her aside and tell her to quiet down.
Exactly.
He's not going to ask her to shrink herself to avoid controversy. He's standing right behind her.
It all connects back to his stated goal of not stunting her growth. He is providing the secure base from which she can take risks. They are 2 highly distinct individuals who have figured out how to be a united team without losing themselves in the process.
It's honestly inspiring.
It is. So let's summarize the playbook we've extracted from these sources for you, the listener.
Let's do it.
Wade and Union's marriage seems to operate on 3 main pillars. First, intentional physical romance, keeping the spark alive with small, deliberate acts, like a curated signature scent to maintain the connection amidst the chaos of a blended family.
Right. The small stuff matters.
Second, fiercely protected individual autonomy, acting as 2 equal, successful CEOs who sign prenups and maintain their own empires.
The robe people.
The robe people. And third, a united, intensely private front when life throws massive curveballs, dealing with the trauma behind closed doors before sharing it with the world.
It is a highly effective modern blueprint. We live in a culture that constantly sells us the romantic ideal, that true love means becoming one with your partner, like sharing every thought, blending every boundary, merging completely.
Yeah, we're told that's the goal.
But their success suggests the exact opposite. By fiercely protecting who you are on your own, you guarantee that you always have something vibrant to bring to the table.
Which brings us to a final thought to ponder. We've talked extensively today about how their individual autonomy and separation as sovereign CEOs protects their marriage.
We have.
But looking forward, we actually see them collaborating more. They wrote the children's book Shady Baby together, and they are potentially blending their production efforts.
Right. They're starting to merge professionally.
So the provocative question becomes, how long can you remain 2 completely separate entities before your empires naturally start to overlap and merge? And when those professional and financial lines finally blur, does the dynamic change, or does this playbook just evolve to meet a new challenge?
That is the million-dollar question.
Keep the vintage car tuned, and we'll see where they drive it next.
Absolutely.
You've been listening to StarScope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.